Hello, everyone. This is the Abundance Oracle ending a crazy week. And I think, please subscribe if you can. I have some good news and some not so good news, but it's good that you're being told about the not so good news. Let's just start out, but I'd like to ask you too, if you're so inclined, please subscribe. Okay. So there's been a beef recall in, I look like it's been a long week. I'm sorry. A beef recall from Hormel stew, and it has some contaminants in it. The best buy date, if you've recently purchased some beef stew from Hormel, that has a best buy date of 2028. So it's really new stuff. If you're someone who likes to stay organized, you probably don't have those any from the past, but recent past, you might have something like that. And it's really good that we're being notified. And have you ever noticed that we're having many, many more recalls than we've had in the past? It makes you sort of wonder and go, is this just a coincidence, or is there something behind it that we don't know? Just keep it in mind. Okay, now the good news is, we always like good news, us abundance people, is last month, besides the month before when we set a new record high, last month set a new high over the previous month. 23 billion in revenue for tariffs in May. So multiply that out. If we just stick with that and we don't complete any more tariff agreements or arrangements, that would come out to 275 billion increase a year. And now last month was only 17 billion. So 23, we're heading in an upward projection. So if we keep going, it just might mean that Mr. T was correct about tariffs. The federal income tax produces 2 billion in revenue returns. Isn't that interesting? Cuts might be made, it's talking about, but not in the super big bill, whatever they call it, because Congress has to vote on it separately, but it's already being written up right now for other cuts in income tax. The tips that he's been talking a lot about, no tax on tips. Social Security, in some situations, he's talking about no tax on Social Security, which should help a lot of us old people and help lower there's a lot of struggles. And then also how to lower the bottom 25% in potential income tax payments to no income tax. The bottom income earners. Okay, so anyway, I think that's very good. Good news. It's almost like a plan is working, isn't it? Isn't that funny how that happens? Okay, now this is what I've noticed, and I've just tucked away in the back of my brain because someday we might want to just pull up that information. So Pete Hegseth is giving us a speech, and he said that China has violated their agreement to get the reduced tariffs, and they've also been moving some equipment to gray zones to assert their powers, and what they will do, it It's the Asian powers. And what they will do is they'll wait and see if they send some naval ships, because they are really trying to be masterful in being on top of all the naval vessels in the whole world. So they're looking to assert their power and wait and see by just putting ships, and they're not rowboats, they're naval ships around, and see what happens, see what people's reaction is. It's sort of like what somebody else does in the art of war. Throw out a very high number and see how people react. And then when you pull your numbers back, people are like, oh, phew, I was worried it was going to be a crazy number. So if they fight against those naval ships being there or cause a ruckus, then perhaps they'll remove and relocate some of those naval ships. But if they just submit and not cause a big fuss, then they might start gaining traction in having those ships there permanently. So it's just something we need to look and make sure that communist China is not getting itself in a position that is going to worry us and concern us. So, oh, I might be able to raise that up. I'm learning how to do this camera. All right, one last thing. So let's talk about nuclear weapons. This I didn't realize. Pakistan, UK, France, India, South Africa, the United States, and others already have nuclear capabilities. And Iran is saying they want to put more nuclear-powered plants up. But once they put their nuclear-powered plants up, they'll be able to make the plutonium that they would need to be a nuclear power, which we do not want to let happen at all. So anyway, those are just a couple things to tuck in your brain and see what we think in the future. I'm optimistic, but I have the privilege of being optimistic because I'm organized, and I would like to offer you the point of view, and perhaps the action that you take is to be organized as well. And what that would include is a way to generate a little electricity if your power goes out for a while. Perhaps having some food put aside for yourself, or if your family's going to need it. If your extended family is nearby and they're not willing to do it themselves, perhaps you might be the one to add a little extra in there. And also, if this China tariff negotiation doesn't go well, there might be a possibility that certain things are done to cause harm to us. For example, stopping all imports to the United States, which is not far-fetched, but that might also include rare earth minerals. And you know we're trying to get payment from Ukraine on what we've already sent them in rare earth minerals, because we know we're a little bit at risk there. And what else do we use a lot from China? Pharmaceuticals. So if you have pharmaceuticals that you absolutely need for your health, you should start to try and figure out how to get a couple extra months ahead of time so that you're not ever caught, like diabetes or whatever it is, your medication, you're not ever caught short. And if your medication needs to be kept cool, you need to be able to keep a mini refrigerator or some sort of thermos, beach thermos, or something rather cool with maybe an energy pack, a backpack, not backpack, an energy pack, a solar pack, something like that. But remember, there's a lot of times in the year that solar does not work. And where you're located makes a huge difference. I'm up in New England, and in the wintertime, there's sun, but also we have some adversarial components here trying to block out the sun, spray the skies, block out the sun, saying that, oh, well, carbon emissions are bad, which carbon emissions is all green living things on the planet need that, and we need to eat some of those things. So, some of the thought processes might be to cause a depopulation effect on some of the planet. So, just something to tack in the back of your mind so that you're not the one caught short or your family's not caught short. Anyhow, abundance, abundance, abundance. Plan ahead. Just imagine if you knew ahead of time before the Great Depression and you ended up putting months away and then somebody lost their job, and you had food to get you through 6 months to find a job, or a year, or you started a garden. The British used to have gardens practically in everybody's backyard, and some are small gardens, some are large gardens, but we didn't have any HOAs that wouldn't allow you to grow food because it was such a necessity at the time. And they were called victory gardens. And a lot of food that was produced went off of the general public for our soldiers, their soldiers, UK. So we also maybe want to think ahead a little bit, and it would do our health really a lot of good to have organic vegetables as much as you can muster up. And even if it's only on your patio or deck, put them in big garden vessels. I've even seen people grow, they take their Amazon box and they put a plastic trash bag in it, dirt, and they start growing potatoes. And then when the potato vines start coming up, they put a little more dirt, they cover it up until they get to the top of their big Amazon box, like trash can size. And by the time it all happens, then the potatoes are all ready. That makes it really easy because they just dump the box over with the trash bag, pull the trash bag off, and presto zippo, a lot of potatoes. Remember, Ireland used to have a potato famine. So, little things to think about. We're not taught too many things in history that might come in handy right now. So keep it in mind. Share ideas with your neighbors and friends. Abundance all around. Love you tons. I'll be back a little later. So I think with summertime coming, I have a lot of people visiting on the weekends. And as you know, I rent out some of my real estate. I had people leave today, so it was crazy in the morning time. I felt bad that this week we didn't get to chat a little bit more. And it's getting warmer. There's sunshine happening. Guess what's coming? You ladies, get your little toenails all beautiful because we're going to be going to the beach one day soon to stick our toes in the sand. Love you all tons. Remember, there's always happiness. You just have to find it around, even in hard times. I mean, my gosh, my grandmother told me about the ladies at the Hood plant. They would go to help work out when it was wartime and to make a little extra money to make ends meet. And the Hood plant, they were so kind. They allowed the dandelions to cover the front lawn of the Hood plant. And the ladies would come out and they would pick out the green leaves off the dandelions, but you can also pick off the flowers of dandelions and make terrific very, very nutritious dandelion tea, but they used to make a fabulous dressing for their dandelion salad. Not when the leaves were big, but when they were smaller, they weren't bitter. When they get big, they get bitter. But that was like a delicacy. And all the ladies at work, no one else was allowed. They guarded the dandelions so that the worker ladies could go on the way home, and they would announce it. Okay, today is dandelion day, and the ladies would come and they would get some nice clippings for dandelions. And that was a very happy day. My grandmother told me the dandelion days that everyone got to pick the dandelions. There's fun all around. I hope you can be the one that sees through the darkness and shines bright during times of frustration and aggravation and maybe unemployment, either for yourself, your family, or your neighbors. Love you all. Keep bringing abundance into our world. Bye-bye. The Abundance Oracle. Subscribe if you can.